What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a brand new episode of Flipside Focus. I am the random dude, Josh, and with me, as always, comrade from across the big pond, Johnny the Machine Hughes. Johnny, how's it going?
It's going all right. All right. No
Are you still relishing in your victory of Jeopardy from TDC?
Well, I wouldn't say relishing. Just to poke the goddesses, Freya. To be fair, I am the original Jeopardy master. It was to be expected.
True. She did get you on the Patience Phillips one, though.
Yeah, only because she's got really, really good fast typing fingers in Google search.
Right. So if you guys miss that episode after this, go back, watch TDC, because that Jeopardy game was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a great. You know what? It was really on point, really good fun. You know what? It made me want to go back and watch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Oh, yes. But that being said, we're obviously not here to talk about DC or Marvel, considering I'm wearing a Deadpool shirt. But there's some indie comics implications here because it's the walking Deadpool. But before we get into that, I do want to just let you know this episode is powered by StreamYard. It is the only platform that we record all of our podcasts here at Undercover Capes. And Johnny, I know you can attest to this. This platform's fantastic.
It's great. It has flexibility. You get to put in videos. You get to put in art. You get to engage with different people. Mm-hmm. You know what? From a production point of view, it is a recording studio that you have complete control over. I must admit, I thought we were all right using Skype. Hell, I thought we were all right using Zoom for work. But what StreamYard does, it blows it out the water.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want to have more than one person speaking and you're worried about camera angles and camera sizes and his face looks bigger than her face, you know what? StreamYard takes all that away. It sorts it out for you. And it's a much more professional point of view. And I look back now and I cringe. I want some of the stuff we had to do. What we've had to do in the past with Skype and stuff. It's like, how did we manage?
You know what? Honestly, it was once we quickly understood and appreciated the benefits of StreamYard, especially the premium stuff.
Definitely.
At that point, we were converted. I mean, we've had both virtual cons have been on StreamYard, 15-hour streams with honestly, the only issues that we ever had were other people's networks.
Yeah, and that's another really good point that you make. You don't have to, to bring guests onto your pod. You don't have to swap Skype information. You don't have to do that. So your Skype address book doesn't get full of people you only speak to once. It's web based. So you just click the link.
Yeah,
the link, and then
absolutely, and that actually is a great segue. If you have a podcast of your own or whatever you use it for, we have an affiliate link. So if you want to take advantage of StreamYard's many, many features, click the link in the description. That will help us as far as maintaining the show. So check it out. StreamYard, the way to go. But on that note, let's talk some indie comics. What do you say?
Hit it. Who's up first?
Well, I had so much fun with the coin.
Oh, the coin.
The coin. So we're going to use the Pokemon coin again.
So this time
you'll get the shiny side.
Woohoo! We should call this the coin of doom. The coin of doom.
So shiny side will be Johnny's pick. Dark side will be mine, which is funny considering the book that I chose. Woo! Let's try that again, shall we?
Yeah. Try and catch it, dude.
Oh,
see, this is what happens. This is what happens when you get a Broncos fan in a coin toss. They get all excited because that's the only part of the game they're going to win.
Well, given how this season has been, I get to go first.
Ray!
Hooray!
Huzzah!
Which is really funny considering I picked the dark side of the coin,
Yeah.
because the book that I chose for this one is Knights of the Golden Sun, issue number 8. So this is one of the just a continuation of the series from Mad Cave Studios, with written by Mark London, art by Mauricio Villarreal, letters by Justin Birch, and editors Giovanni Orozco and Chris Fernandez. So if you've never read any of these books, I definitely encourage you to go back and read through all of them, because it's a fantastic story. You have really angels and demons battling for Earth.
Wait, didn't I watch this in a TV show? Is this not you just getting your supernatural fix?
No, there's better. Okay. The only thing, though, is there's no Chevy Impala in this. If there was a Chevy Impala in this book, I'd be sold. So,
I'm a Mustang guy, so that means nothing to me. Sorry.
Fair enough. But so the story is picking up. Angels and demons are back on Earth. Now, the other plot twist to this is it's taking place during biblical times and biblical locations. So just the overall story, the flow that Mark London has done in creating this story has been top notch. So you have great writing, not to mention the artwork is gorgeous in this book. I mean, it's been gorgeous in the whole series, but I've been super impressed with just the quality and the balance between writing and art. So much that even Freya may honestly enjoy this.
Nah, she'll find something.
Well, of course she will. Yeah, you're not wrong. But still, at the end of the day, I mean, the character design, the way they use their light sources, fantastic.
Definitely.
So, honestly, if you're looking for just a fantastic adventure read, Knights of the Golden Sun is where it's at.
Okay, cool.
Now the question is, do you feel the same way?
Well, okay, so if I'm brutally honest, I will say right now that Bible stories and the history of don't interest me, generally speaking. All right, they're not my cup of tea. If I saw a book that was its main topic, you know what, I'd probably just skip past it. Which would be, on this occasion, it would be my loss, because regardless of the topic, that's not my bag, or not my cup of tea, or not my glass of wine, or whatever you want to say. It doesn't take away from the actual level of quality of product that you get with this book. I think the writing, I agree, the writing is top notch. It's historical. It has some relevance to the characters that are going through there. So those of you that are astute with your Bible reading and so on, you'll be able to see the parallels between the two, and the nods and the winks, so to speak. The art's very stylized, and I found it quite a bit of a not a mix, bit of a contrast, because we're talking about the Bible from a Christianity point of view. And if you go back to some of the pictures with the leading lady in there, some of the panels, if you go back forward, that one there, yeah, perfect. You can see, I think, the way that she's drawn, in that elongated manner, it gives me, and other parts of how the golden armor that they're looking for kind of interject with each other. It gives it a bit of an Egyptian feel, which I found quite unusual when you consider the book's supposed to be the Christian Bible type element, you know.
Yeah, but,
And I kind of like,
there are portions of the Bible that do take place in Egypt. I mean,
yeah, but it doesn't end well, does it? Come on.
yeah, well,
Egypt's not a good place for Christianity if you think about it. But
that's
you know, so I like the kind of juxtaposition between the elongated figures. You could say that it's accentuated, and yeah, sometimes the female character's body and her attributes are well displayed, proportioned, whatever you want to say. But the same goes for the blokes. There's the guys when they're all like battle armored up. You've got like 16 abs going on and stuff like that.
Although I'm not gonna lie, I appreciate this guy. He's definitely more. He's like your. I relate to him because he's definitely got a little more of the dad bod.
Yeah. So I was thinking if you check page 20 out, for example, so there is no sort of 9-page panel. Damn you, 9-page. One more. Keep going. There you go.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's kind of, you know, what the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. So whilst you've got that accentuated linear body for the female characters, which is totally fine. You know what? Hey, I like curves. I like curves and girls just as much as the next guy. You also get the more robust, kind of traditional, godlike physique for the blokes. You know what? I enjoyed this book. It wasn't. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't have picked this in a million years. But when I looked at it, when I see the people involved, and when I see Mad Cave are one of those companies that, you know what, you just can't help but love because they just do. They just put so much effort into it. You know, this is comic book 101. The colors. The colors are gorgeous. And I noticed on the credits, you've just got the artist, so I assume that the artist does the colors as well as the pencils and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask the guy. I'd like to say, is he known more for a colorist than he is for an artist? Because the colors, like from a pencil artist, before colorists go up in arms, the colors of the book really, really make it for me. It's the colors that make this really pop.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, and why I specifically mentioned light sources. I mean, you look at this particular panel here where they're in a room and you can see the separation of where the light and darkness kind of contrast based on where people are standing in relation to the light source. So, I mean, because right here in the middle of the room, it's dark, which makes sense because you've got a guy standing in front of the candles, you know, the 3 candles here. This guy on the left is standing right in front of the fireplace. So, of course, you're going to have this one area that is not going to be touched by the light because, you know, and it's little details like that stood out to me.
Agreed. The colors, I use the word textures a lot sometimes when I write the reviews for Crusaders, and this is a prime example of that. This isn't just bam, everything's one color or one hue or one tone. You can see how that gradient changes from the light source. It's like the guy has clearly said, right, the light source is here. That's bright. That's dark. All right, the top's going to be brown, so therefore that's going to be yellow. It's going to grow all the way into the brown element. And same with the bottom panel of that same page. You can see how the light source is the fire, and therefore he moves the light through from the right to the left, but doesn't take away from the kind of lines of the characters there. So the fire is shown that those characters are illuminated, I should say, against the rest of the background. So the characters, you can still see them and they still pop and they still have a presence within the panel. I think it's just, you know, when you talk about colorists, it's that sort of detail that I think can absolutely make or break a comic book. And, you know, we don't give colorists enough attention sometimes, you know, but this book, you know, really, really does its job well. I mean, if you talk about independent colorists, you know, there's a whole host of people who are fantastic. Zenoscope, for whilst their product might be hit and miss story-wise or art-wise, you cannot knock Zenoscope's color process.
No,
Not at all. You
no.
know, if you want to look at a book that's well colored, I mean, Grim Fairy Tales 43 came out not so long ago, and story-wise, slated it. Right, art-wise, it's inconsistent. Colors, man, go and check out that book. There's this bit where Sky goes onto the other world, and honestly, you know, it is just darkness upon dark, and it just works so well with just little fragments of light seeping through. You know, so you know, they can make or break a book, definitely.
Yeah. So, Knights of the Golden Sun, definitely pick it up. Mad Cave Studios, rocking it as always. And you brought up a good point that, yeah, it's coming from Mad Cave. That in itself carries a lot of weight because you look at all the books they've put out.
Yeah.
Up to this point, they have a reputation for putting out fantastic work.
One of the things I liked of this book is that I read it. I hadn't read the previous 7 issues, and it didn't feel like there was a ton of exposition to get me up to speed. You know, because sometimes you read some books and it's like you get 4 pages of what happened last issue before you even get into it. The book's only 22 pages long, so it's like, how? Come on.
Yeah.
You owe me 4 pages, sons of bitches. They're not.
Well, having read the previous issues up to this, I didn't even feel like there was any filler issues. That's the other thing that I appreciated.
Dum dum dum. Dreaded filler issue. Although there is a 9-panel page in there, but I'm not going to bring that up.
Well, I mean, 9-panel pages compared to what other companies do, like a 9-panel page compared to an entire book.
You know what? It was fun back in the Watchmen days. That's all I'm saying. But the original Watchmen, in case
I was going to say the which Watchmen are we talking about here, John?
Yeah, the one from back in the day, the original, and still the best. Before anybody kicks off.
Fair enough. Yep. Cool. All right. Well, speaking of religious implications, Ahoy Comics has.
What are you trying to say? Yeah, I noticed with this, I kind of like, what have I just picked? But yeah.
This is one of those books that when I first read it, I was like,
I thought this was an inspired choice. I'm not going to lie.
But
no, I did. I thought, this book, I started reading it and I had a smile from this side of my headphones to this side. Honestly, it was just, but take it away. You do the intro.
So we were talking about Second Coming, Only Begotten Son. Yeah, this book is just it's great. Written by Mark Russell, art by Richard Pace, colors by Andy Troy. Now there's one thing I found interesting. They have a finisher.
Yeah.
Who for this book is Leonard Kirk, and then letters by Rob Steen. This does have 2 other stories within the book.
Yeah, I didn't look at those. I'm not gonna lie. Nope. That's fine.
Fair enough. So, Johnny, this is your pick. Take it away.
So, Second Coming, as the cover kind of alludes to, there is an element of a classic hero tale. So basically, the way this works is that God thinks that Jesus hasn't been pulling his weight, so he sends him down to earth to learn how to be good and how to use power in a more beneficial way. He teams him up with the local superhero, which is it Sunstar? I think it's Sunstar.
Yeah,
Sunstar. To learn the lessons. So in the first series, first volume, it's all about Sunstar teaching Jesus how to be like, Jesus. As a reward for being fantastic and helping his son, God bequeaths Sunstar a baby. You know, very, very Christmassy. Yeah. There's no manger involved, so you know, so this is 2020 after all. Social distancing from mangers all allowed. So from that point of view, you know, Sunstar's going to have a super baby, and this issue is kind of like a bit of a nod back to how Sunstar came about. So basically, from that point on, you've got parents, a dying world, a rocket, and a baby. Now,
Where have we heard that before?
Now, if you put those two things together and come out with a satirical 20s comedy based on a 60s TV show, well, then correct. You have got second coming. Well done. And that is the crazy sort of setup that this book is aimed at. It is cheesy 60s comic with dialogue that is so sharp. And it's not just sharp from like a 60s comedy point of view. It's talking about how people are raping the planet just for their own misbegotten gains of jewelry and random little things where to make them happy for like the minuscule of seconds. You know, that sounds like anything. Fracking right, it does. But then, you know, the whole Krypton thing is in there a little bit, but it's the relationship, it's the banter. You know, the art. You know what? The art's probably not spectacular. You know, you're going to look at the art and you're going to think it's a little bit cartoony in places, a little bit caricature. But that all just adds to the charm because remember, this is a pastiche of 3 different eras. Superman, 60s comedy shows, and today's satirical comment. You've got those 3 things clashing together. No wonder the world blew up.
Well, I mean, it was as it says right there. I mean, the world is made out of fucking crystal.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, it's crazy. But this book, the dinner party from hell, the guests from, you know what, we've all got in from work one day, and we've all had our significant others say, "Oh, by the way, Billy Bob and Joanne Smith are coming across." You're like, "Oh, really? Not Billy Bob?" Yeah, not Joanne Smith. And you have to suffer in silence. This is it's just well played. It's well observed. I looked at this book and I just, as I said, I just laughed all the way through it. It's just brilliant. It's just a well observed piece. And Jesus, he's just like, he is the most, honestly, if he's not smoking something, I would be amazed. He is so laid back. All right. So Christian Wright are going to hate me for this, but you know, whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's just a really worked book. It's the twist on the Superman mythology is in there. I challenge anyone to read this book and not laugh at it. That page there, brilliant. I bought a rocket, and she's like, "You bought a rocket? That's the size." He's like, "Well, rockets don't come cheap." You know, it's that kind of consumerism. You know, it's like I bought a car, great. So you go out expecting like an Impala, and you end up with a, I don't know, Ford Fiesta. Do you guys have Ford Fiestas, little hatchback things?
Yes, we do. Yep.
Cool. So you know, get you from A to B. In this case, back to planet Earth. But what do you think?
I mean, I read the original.
Oh, really?
The very first Second Coming book, and I absolutely loved it. It was, as you said, I was laughing from start to finish. It's one of those books you can't take it serious. And if you do, you're going to miss out on what this story has to offer.
Definitely.
You know, we talk about the balance between writing and artwork, and where the artwork is a little lackluster.
Squiffy. We'll use the word squiffy.
Squiffy. I love it. But the writing makes up for it. And so that being said, it's a fantastic read all around, and one that you really should pick up, especially if you enjoy books that don't even take themselves seriously.
Really, that's a well put thing. Well put. Yeah, it's. I agree. It's. We all know Superman's story.
Mhm.
Right? We all know the religious connotations. We all know the whole thing. It's been around since 1930. God damn it!
Mhm.
Right? We get it. But every now and again, when you go back and you tell something, but when they put a twist on it, it just. I don't know. It just for me.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And you know what? It's sometimes when you see things like this, I know this is a bit cheesy, but it makes you appreciate the original a little bit more. You know?
Yeah.
The fact this book only works because, well, the main idea behind this book only works because Superman's so big and so popular.
Yeah.
And such a major icon. If Superman was some third-rate character, all right, here we go. If this book was based on Booster Gold's origin, on Nightcrawlers, it would not work.
The fact that you said Booster Gold, I was about to say what? It's like Booster Gold or Nightcrawler.
Yeah. So it just wouldn't work because whilst those characters do have their fans, and I don't mind a bit of Booster every now and again, the thing is they're not the icons that you can play with and get the laughs.
Well,
So,
it would be like if they took this concept and had we'll run with Booster Gold teaming up with the Apostle Paul.
okay.
It doesn't have the same impact as a Superman type hero and Jesus.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the direction of choosing even the likeness of two very big icons in all of culture, if you will,
Yeah.
was a smart choice.
Definitely. Because I mean, how many times do they say that Superman? I mean, if you look at the last movie, the Batman versus Superman, they call him a god, don't they? A god amongst us and all that sort of stuff. So there's so many different levels you could take it down. But Ahoy Comics, they are. I've seen a raft of their books recently, and you know what? I think they're in it for the long haul. I really do.
Absolutely. I mean, they're up there with Mad Cave as far as the quality of the books that they're putting out. I mean,
I've got a question for you. Then I'm going to put you on the spot because you normally put me on the spot. So turnabout's fair play.
fair.
Of the indie companies that are kicking around right now, all right,
Okay.
which ones do you think are on the up, and which, if any, do you think are on the slide?
So on the up, definitely Mad Cave and Ahoy.
Yeah.
Source Point Press.
Good call.
And I think those will be the top three that I feel are on the up. On the downswing, Dark Horse. Honestly, I kind of feel like the bigger independent, so like your Dark Horse, Image, and Boom, they're kind of on the downswing.
What about Valiant?
I haven't read a whole lot of theirs lately. So
what does that tell you?
that I prefer Ahoy and Source Point. And
I would like to for me, I agree with Ahoy and I agree with Mad Comics. I would throw in Vault in there.
Okay.
I would personally, I would like to see more Black Mask because I think they've done some really good stuff in the past. I wish they'd do more stuff.
Yeah.
On the down slope, I think Dark Horse have been around long enough to handle the loss of all the licensing stuff, so they've got some game about them. So they're kind of in the middle for me. I think Valiant, the fact that they're having to reboot Ninjak and they've just rebooted Exo Man of War again.
Yeah.
This will be like the fourth time for Exo to go around the block. The fact they can't work out if they're doing Rye or Bloodshot, it's like. And I'm going to say one that I really liked a couple of years ago, Aftershock. I think Aftershock's on the, because once you get past that initial sort of like twist in the tail, what comes next?
Yeah.
What's the other one that's on the up? Is it AWA?
I think AWA Studios, and that was the one that just came to my mind. I was like, wait a minute, how could I forget about AWA?
I think you're absolutely right about Boom, IDW, Dark Horse. I think they're all pretty much Image to an extent. They're all in a holding pattern.
I feel like if they get so many licensed properties, they then become subject to more powers that be.
So, but I think IDW do it really well. I think IDW have a fair amount of licensed product, so they know they're guaranteed to get readers from that. And then they put out, and Boom do something very similar. And then IDW have like a range of true sort of like indie stories, if you want, indie books.
Yeah.
So I think they do a great job of kind of mixing the palette a little bit. It's a model that Dark Horse should have done, to be fair. Because I mean, fair enough. I know Dark Horse in the past. Don't everyone hate me? I know they've had Concrete. I know they had Cerebus for a while, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
What comes after Concrete? I mean, we're talking Concrete, and that's like back in the late 80s, early 90s. In fact, that should be on Old Timers. Same with Cerebus. But it's like Image. Once you've had Walking Dead finish, I know people still love Spawn, but does Spawn still pull a huge amount of people? I don't know.
No, honestly, I think that for Spawn, the majority of the revenue for Spawn is going to be with the figures. I mean, you look at Todd McFarlane's Kickstarter for the Spawn figure, did really well. And that's an understatement, even saying that. And using Spawn in other mediums. I mean, the fact that he's in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I picked that as a wrong choice then, but I know Spawn can be multimedia, so that's fine. But for me, that's kind of where I am. I think there's a range of good indie books out there. There's people like, as you say, Mad Cave Ahoy, for me, Vault, who as soon as I see them, I know that the books are going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Zenoscope, but they're pretty much holding steady. Like, damn. I'm being awful. You know what? Zenoscope are a guilty pleasure for me. Yeah.
Zenoscope really. They have a very specific niche.
I know, and I don't mind that they have a specific niche. I just wish they did it better. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't mind if comic book publishers have a specific niche. I don't mind that Aftershock is all about the twist and the and I don't mind that Boom are all about, or IDW are all about licensed books. I don't mind if it's a Voyager book or a Transformers book or whatever. I just want it done well. I just want it to read well so that I can enjoy it.
Yeah. So, like, for example, as we're talking about, books that have done well, with Ahoy, the one that I love the most, The Wrong Earth.
Yeah.
This series is fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
love that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That, and of course you've got, is it Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man? That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a bit of a sequel-y type thing. There's been loads of different books that they've done that have been absolutely fantastic. So it's a chance. The problem with indie books, and this falls down on you viewers,
Mhm.
is that you guys, you viewers, you readers, you've got to put the effort in. Yeah, you've got to check out your previews. You've got to, if you like an indie publisher, check the website. Find out when the books are coming out.
Yeah.
Get them ordered at your local comic book shop. Your local local comic book shop. I'm sorry to tell you, doesn't have the funds to just order 5 of a copy of a comic just on the off chance that it sells. All right, they need you to help them get the books that you want to read. And I'm not saying anything bad against any of the big two, right? Because we all have our favorite big two characters. But
Yeah, we know yours, Red Hood.
Teen Titans. But
I mean,
if you don't let your retailer know that you want an Ahoy book or an AWA book, who's that on? You can't blame the retailer for not picking the book. You get plenty of notice. You get 3 months notice before a book comes out.
yeah.
That's the previews world. So
okay, let's put you back on the hot seat then.
oh really? God
Oh
damn.
yeah, I'm totally going to do this, and then we'll jump over to Kickstarter.
Okay.
So prior to me joining Undercover Capes, I had no idea what a pull list was. I had no idea how to get a lot of these books. So if someone's watching this and they're sitting here going, what the hell is Johnny on about? What is previews?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? How do people then order
Okay.
the books?
Good question. So there's a website and there's a catalog. So comic book shops carry a catalog. It's called Previews and it's about year thick and it's got absolutely everything: merchandise, TV, comic books, statues, figures, whatever, comic books. All right. And back in the olden days, you used to get your copy of Previews and you used to thumb through and you used to circle which ones you want, or you'd write the number down or the title and you'd say to your comic book dude, I want this book, this book, this book. Of course, things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So basically, because you've got the internet, you've got loads of different ways of doing this. You can follow a particular publisher and check to see when they're coming out, or you can go to Previews World themselves. All you got to do, type Previews World in your search bar, it brings it up. And from there on in, you can search for different characters and different books. Now, if you're ahead of the game and you're looking at previews for this month, what's this, December, January, means that you're looking for books that are coming out in March and you get a product code. So for this month, it'll be something like DEC 10942, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
You then can tell your retailer, dude, this is the order code, this is what I'd like. And then they'll just punch it into the order and boom. Next thing you know, come March, the book ships on time, unless it's a Doomsday Clock book. Then it goes to one side for you. It doesn't even hit the shelves. So you get nobody sticking the grubby paw prints all over your comic book. And then you go there and say, dude, can I have my comics? And the guy pulls out a wad of comics, and in there, in the pile, you go, yeah, Batman, yeah, Spider-Man, yeah, Avengers, yeah. Just to say, ooh, look, the latest one from AWA that I ordered 3 months ago. And that's it. That's how it goes. All right.
Okay.
But the way it works is you've got to respect it, man. Because comic retailers are putting their trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to turn up. You've got to pick up your books, man. Because if you don't, that means comic shops could go under. And that's not just you that loses out. It's the dude next to you. It's the dude behind you. It's the lass who's buying, manga or buying My Little Pony books or whoever buys My Little Pony books or whatever. All right.
Yeah.
But anytime you look on previews, you can click on the link and it will take you to the comic. It'll give you an opportunity to look to see what other issues are coming out within the series. And it'll also let you know about the variant covers that are kicking around. So
okay. So for example, I've got previewsworld.com up. I'll click Radiant Black #1 by Image. So this is the code you're talking about, the DEC.
Yep.
Blah blah blah.
Yep, that code is synonymous. It's only for that particular book.
Okay.
Your retailer will be able to punch it into their computer, and then they can add it to their order. It's that simple. Yeah.
Okay.
And dependent on, it even goes as far as whichever cover you want, because some companies do different covers. So you have a look through and you say, oh, I want this cover or that cover. You just give them the code for the relevant cover that you want.
Okay.
Bob's a good one. And a lot of previews stuff comes with preview pages.
Mhm.
So if you think, oh, I like the sound of whatever, then you can go and have a look and see, oh, well, yeah, the art's really good. It's, and it gives you some sort of hint. So you're not buying completely blind, and
Yeah.
you are not judging a book by its or its variant cover.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I like how you did that.
Yeah, it's like I planned it, didn't it? All just made up on the spot.
Hey, you know what? I thought it was well done.
Okay.
Not COVID.
Right.
Damn.
So before we take a break and before Josh coughs up a lung, I would just want to say a big thank you to a certain someone. I want to say thank you to Geordie Belair, whose fantastic Vampirella and Red Sonja book hits the shops this week. It's issue 12. It's the final issue. I'll let you in a secret. It's a reset book, but it's done so well. You will not have a single complaint about it. If you don't have a lump in your throat or a tear in your eye when you finish this life lived story, then you know what? Go and read Marvel books. So it's been a great 12. I tell you, I'm not gonna lie, I bought the book because hey, it's a vampire chick in a swimsuit and there's a barbarian chick in a bikini. I was like, this is bang up my street, and then lo and behold, it turned into something completely different. And you know what? It was still bang up my street. Geordie Belair, the colorist for umpteen different books, has absolutely delivered 12 issues of sheer fun, pacey books, no filler issues, twists, turns, to the point where the modus operandi, the thing that gets them back to wherever it is they need to go to, you won't even see coming. All right, it's that good.
I dig it.
If I could say, if I could give a Flipside book of the year, this would be in my top 3 without a shadow of a doubt.
You know what? We may have to do that for a future episode.
Definitely, I am all over that. Like cough on a COVID victim.
Oh, well, speaking of independent comics, Johnny, I know this is going to be kind of a curveball for you.
Oh, good God.
But for those of you who aren't aware, we have a podcast called The Old Timers Comic Book Show. If you have never watched this, you're missing out. It is exclusively on the Comic Crusaders YouTube channel. And, well, I'm going to show you a clip right now.
Oh, no.
All right, here we go.
It wasn't, I did not grow up on indie books. And so when we decided last week, this is what we're going to do. We're going to steer away from the big two, and we're going to talk about the independents. And I was kind of hard pressed to kind of come up with just like an independent that I was fond of, and maybe fond is not the word, because I am fond of Bone, but I mean, independents have their place. I really
just
enjoy them.
there's the first one. The professor is fond of Bone.
That's going to be played on a loop.
Yeah. Audio time. There you go.
All right. So what drew me to Bone
That's what she said.
Okay.
was the fact that I actually grew up, before I started reading comic books, I read comic strips. I read, Peanuts. I read Beetle Bailey. Whenever my dad got the paper, I would always.
All right.
I have to admit, thanks. I'll shout out my local comic shops, the Dial Night. They actually have a copy of Born number 23 in for 50 whole English pence.
Ooh.
So there you go.
So what you're saying is you got excited when you saw the bone.
Well, I wouldn't like to say I got excited, but
So make sure to check out the Old Timers Comic Book Show. As I said, exclusively on Comic Crusaders YouTube channel. It's a fantastic show. So
my hair was wonky there. And just for the listeners and the viewers, no, I'm not always drinking when I do a podcast. All right, just saying. I know it looks like it, but no, I'm not.
Well, for that episode, I don't blame you.
See, my glass is empty. What can I say? I don't always drink.
And in Johnny's defense, I did not tell him that we were showing that particular clip of the Old Timers Comic Book Show.
I have been done up like a kipper.
Honestly, that's one of my favorite parts of that particular episode.
I just love the way the professor is just so like naive and innocent. He just comes out with it, it's like
right.
And even when we start laughing, he just doesn't give up. He's still like, yeah.
Like, I gotta get my thought out, damn it.
Yeah. I like coming through the bone, and I like,
so yeah, definitely go check that out. Totally worth it. But we are on to another fantastic segment, Kickstarter. And again, if you've never listened to this show, we always highlight a Kickstarter campaign that we feel that you should go check out. Not only check out, but back the project, because Kickstarter truly is the lifeblood, I feel, of indie comics.
I would just like to also point out that at this stage, at no point do Josh and I get any kickback from Kickstarter.
No, hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah, hashtag, we don't get anything. Hashtag, we should change that. So, these are just our perusals of Kickstarter. Even if you don't agree with us, at least go and check out Kickstarter, the site out, so you can go and find a book that you do like.
True that. Well, as is now becoming a tradition here on the show,
it's a coin of doom.
We have 2 picks, and we're going to let the coin of doom decide which pick goes first.
Am I still shiny?
I actually caught it. Yes.
Woo!
And shiny wins. All right.
All right. Okay. So here we go. My shout. It was a book that I've noticed a while. Well, I say a while ago. It was a week and a bit ago. And the reason I like this book. So let's it's called Harpy's Origins Betty. So MI5 rookie Betty faces Nazi saboteurs, subterranean monsters, and the world's wickedest man himself. All right. The reason I like this book harkens back to British comic strips, in fact. Right? So back in the day, there used to be a British comic strip called Jane. All right, and Jane was very much like a Peggy Carter type, fighting in World War One and getting themselves into all sorts of manners of scrapes and troubles and trials and tribulations and stuff. Well, because it's aimed at soldiers, there was a level of titillation in the book. And somewhere along the line, Jane always seemed to get naked or semi-naked, or she'd be in her underwear or whatever. It was very, bear in mind, this is the war, so it was very risque. You're like, ooh, bloomers, ooh, easy tiger. All right. So it wasn't quite as in your face as it is now, I suppose. Looking at this book, this brought back all those sort of kind of memories that I had of those comic strips, the comic strips that my granddad used to read, and that kind of thing. So I kind of like
this comic strip.
Yeah.
The Misadventures of Jane.
Yeah, and
I
so
found
I
her.
can't. Brilliant. Well, she's popular. So, so this kind of harkens back to that. And yes, I know people are going to say, "Oh, look, the Machines picked another half-naked girl book." No, the Machines picked a book that has its histories way back when.
Mhm.
All right, this is like a remake, an up-to-date retelling of a very simple classic story back before. And yeah, I get it that women were objects back then. I get it. That's not to say that curvy women don't exist nowadays. All right. Um, I don't know. I just like the sense of fun behind it. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
It is that kind of cheesecake art, that cheesecake mentality. Then of course you throw some demon stuff in there, and it's like, whoop! Now we're back into strange land. For those that are interested, I will say that this book has already reached its goal. So if you get in on this, you are guaranteed. So $16,873 have been pledged of an $8,000 goal. All right. There's still 9 days to go as of the recording of this pod. And bear in mind, we're doing a fast turnaround of this pod. By the time you see this pod, chances are there's still only 9 days to go. That's how quick our audio guy runs. He's that good.
Mhm. It's
All
also
right.
also the nice part of StreamYard.
Definitely. So you've got the usual types of things you can get. So let's see. So pledge $8 or more for the Fury tier. You get your new issue of Harpy's Origins on any computer or mobile device, delivered as a PDF. Also includes Dirty Work at the Crossroads #1, Villain #1, and Villain #2 PDF. Delivery date for that's around May. As you go through that, $15 or more gets you the same again, but includes the 32-page comic, which is shipped, because we know this is massively important, anywhere in the world. And then for $25 or more, you get the Beachhead, which is a naughty variant. The PDF, the Crossroads, the Villain 1 and 2, and of course the full color comic again across the world, and so on and so forth. All right. There are loads of different things to look into, and if you got to look to see what you want out of this book. There are variant covers on there from the what you call it, the stretch goals are in there. So I personally really like the because you know what I'm like.
Yeah, she's
I like the 9,000 stretch goal. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Everyone knows my taste at this point.
Although if they had her in fishnets, you'd be all over that.
I'm not gonna lie, that is so true. But hey ho. The more the further the stretch goes, the more risky the covers get. You know what? I don't have a problem with that. If that's your cup of tea, that's your cup of tea. That's fine. What I'm interested in is kind of that kind of old school theme where what, she's seen as a bit of a sex object, but in reality, she's got some game. She's gonna like kick ass and take prisoners all the way through. Is it serious book? No. Is it a social experiment based on today's world? No. Is it a fun book that just has fun characters and fun situations? Hell yes. There you go. So that's
Honestly,
kind of me on this one, I think.
I feel like this book brings back the true bombshell.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because that's really what she is. She is a bombshell, and that will kick ass and take names.
Definitely. Sue me for being me. All right. But yeah, that's my call. That's the one I'm going to pick.
You know what? I'll be honest. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a Johnny pick." But then I looked more into it, and I was like, "Oh, actually,
Well,
it looks like a fantastic story."
I mean, it's
What-
just it's a historical thing that made me think of it. To be fair, because for all us Brits, I remember the TV show about the misadventures of Jane with Glynis Barber in, which was out in around, I want to say, it was probably after Blake 7 and probably before Dempsey and Makepeace. So I'm going to say about mid-80s. It was a BBC thing. You should probably be able to get it on YouTube, you know. So, you know, I remember watching this show with my grandparents and my granddad laughing. I was like, "Granddad, what are you laughing for? Just because she's naked?" He goes, "Oh, no, this is..." And he told me the story about, like, Jane was the comic strip and so on and so forth. You know, so, you know, I've got to admit, I've had pretty cool paternal role models. Both my granddad and my dad both were okay with comic books and stuff. In fact, my granddad used to have a run of EC comics.
Oh,
So there you go.
you're showing your age there, Johnny.
Well, you know, old timer. There ain't no timer like an old timer.
I dig it. I dig it. Well, to go from satire, I'm going to make this a little darker.
That
I
does
know.
sound like you. That does sound like you.
Yeah. Yeah. And my pick, if Al was on the show, he would have picked this because this book it's called The Sleep Stories, Volume 1 by Michael Walsh. Horror based, just different stories. So what he's done is taken essentially his dreams, his night terrors, his nightmares, and turned it into, originally it was a web comic, and now he has enough content to actually make it a full book. And I just love the fact that this is black and white, just straight horror comic. And honestly, I was very curious even more the more I looked into it. And then I'm like, ooh, I like this. I like it a lot. Definitely not one to necessarily read before going to bed. I mean, unless that's your thing, you know, then by all means, don't let me stop you. But I just very impressed with the quality. I love the use of black in this. Because it really makes any of the other colors, the grays, the whites, makes them really pop.
Yeah, it's funny because, again, I'm not a huge horror fan. However, back in the day, back in the 80s, we used to have a UK comic book called The Eagle, and they would run like stuff like haunted house stories and stuff like that. And where there's like a ghoul sitting waiting, and it would be black and white, and people would go through the different stories and so on. I look at this, I look at the adverts on this, and I'm blown away just how much atmosphere is created just on like the two colors that you've got going on there.
Yeah. So
very well done.
Well, and Michael Walsh is a well-known comic book creator. I mean, he's an Eisner Award-winning comic book creator. He's done work on other titles: Star Wars, Spider-Man, The Avengers, X-Men. You know, he's done work with Dark Horse, DC. You know, so you're getting someone who has experience in the industry, and now we're getting a book that is all him, not dictated by any powers that be. So, and the fact that this, you know, fully funded in 5 hours, I mean, things like that also really says a lot about the book itself for it to be fully funded. You know, the goal was $6,286. Currently, at the time of recording, at $10,289 with 24 days to go. As we look at the different tiers. Now, this is set, at least, as I'm looking at it from the States, it is set at Canadian dollars. So you got to keep that in mind when you back the project. There is going to be a price difference due to currency rates. But $15 will get you a digital copy of the comic and a physical copy of the Sleep series comic. So, and you also get a thank you credit on the website.
Cool.
And that's just for the 15 Canadian dollars, which is about 12 US dollars. The $50 tier. Now, that's the thing I did notice about this is the $5 tier gets you a digital copy of the book and a shout out on the website. 15 Canadian dollars gets you the shout out, gives you access to the stretch goals, which I did also find interesting. The digital copy and physical copy shipped anywhere in the world. And then it jumps up to 50 to get the t-shirt on top of everything else. And then so on and so forth. Which the tiers on this I found to be very interesting and different compared to others. So yeah, I was definitely impressed with just how this is all put together. And they even have a trailer. So I'm thinking
what you're thinking.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to show that. So let me set this up properly because, again, StreamYard, hashtag shameless plug, allows you to be able to do this sort of thing.
I've always had nightmares. For as long as I can remember, I've woken up in the middle of the night screaming. After a traumatic event in my childhood, these nightmares evolved into terrors, a state of delirium where it was hard to tell my waking reality from the horrors of my sleep. As I got older, some dreams recurred while new ones emerged, maturing with my new fears and neuroses. I still have these dreams, but they no longer evoke the lasting terror that they used to. They've become a part of my life and a source of creativity. In mid-2020, I adapted one of these nightmares as a mini-comic, which I posted to Twitter. After an enthusiastic response and encouragement from my fan base, I decided to continue drawing my nightmares as an ongoing webcomic titled The Sleep Stories. With every new entry, there are people asking about buying a physical copy of the webcomic. Now that I have enough material for a giant-sized issue, I thought it would be a good time to run a Kickstarter. Not only will this Kickstarter give me the opportunity to tell a longer story, exclusively for my backers, but any profits will go towards hosting the website and continuing to support in the creation of new sleep stories. Welcome to my rotting dreams.
Plain and simple.
Can I look yet?
That yes, you can look. Honestly, that I like that trailer because you're able to watch him paint.
I think that's scarier than the other thing. That's scarier than the book itself.
I thought it was cool, but that's just me.
Yeah. To be fair, I am kind of just. It is really good, and it's something that just horror, man. It's just horror.
Mm-hmm.
But done well.
I think those types of books, though, it takes a lot.
I think
to be able to put it together.
I agree. I think horror is probably one of the hardest things to do in a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
For lots of reasons. One being you don't have music to build your the
suspense.
Terror, the suspense and the tenseness of it all. By the same token, you also don't have. You've seen lots of things. You've seen absolutely loads of things already, so it's really hard to kind of get something new behind things. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's a scary monster, but it's not. It's just. I don't know. This is just well done. It really does.
Yeah.
It does freak me out a little bit. So I'll be
sleeping well tonight.
No, I'm not. But thanks for that. Yeah, cheers.
You know what? Just read a Red Hood book. You'll be fine.
That's even scarier.
Okay, lesser of two evils.
Teen Titans Go. Let's do that.
We can make Bud read a Deadpool book. That would be the.
Would he not fire us for that?
He doesn't run the show. What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Awesome. Well, that's going to be it for this episode of Flipside Focus. I think it's a good place to wrap it up. I think so.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute. It's been a blast as always. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you being a part of the show. It's been fun being able to talk indie comics with you.
Thank you.
And make sure to check out all of our shows on the Undercover Capes podcast network, including
The Definitive Crusade.
Oh man, I thought you were going to say Old Timers Comic Book Show.
Well, do you know, I'm on that many. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've got a list. If I got a tattoo, it'd like be down here somewhere.
I was gonna say, yeah, you got the Definitive Crusade, you've got obviously now Flipside, Old Timers, the original, and definitive outside the panels.
Which, by the way, keep your eye open because we've got a special guest coming in January who's a bit of an indie creator as well. So I'm not giving any names away.
Okay, so
but just keep your eyes open on the OTP because there's going to be some OTP. It's the place to be.
Ooh, I like that catchphrase. We should trademark that.
Hashtag the machine said it.
Yes. And then, of course, other shows, No Prize Podcast, K-Pop Cosmos. I mean, we've got it all. So,
are we planning something special for Christmas? Are we planning something special for Christmas, for Boxing Day?
No, I want to sell the kids Christmas presents. I mean, what? Just kidding.
Are we? If.
That thing, yes.
Yeah, if we can all get ourselves to a socially distanced cinema,
or have access to a certain streaming service, we will be having a very 80s filled special, but we're taking this special back in the format that we did 4 years ago, back when Undercover Capes started.
I'm going to wear my aviator gigs just for those that wonder what gigs are. Glasses. Sorry, I'm going to wear my aviators just because it's so 80s.
I want you to know you got to rock the fanny pack.
You know that's a totally different meaning to us Brits.
Oh yes, no, I'm fully aware that it's a totally different meaning to the Brits.
do you think Mrs. H is going to allow me to rock a fanny pack on there? How?
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. If I ask you, it depends whose fanny pack it is.
So make sure to stay tuned to all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of it, for an announcement about that. And then, yeah, keep on rocking. So this is the Random Dude Josh with Johnny the Machine Hughes, and signing off.
Adios.
Visit undercovercapes.com for the latest and greatest podcasts via the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Also visit our parent company website, comiccrusaders.com, all about comic pop culture.